So, hi everyone. Thank you for joining in. My name is Ketan, and I am the CMO at Relo. Um, I see a lot of familiar faces, lot of customers. Good to see all of you, and I hope we can make this session as interactive and as valuable for you as possible, so that you'll get worth your 45 minutes of time spent. चलिए शुरू करते हैं. So the brand that we have today, for me, that brand has a very important role in my growing up years, right? So that brand is Pop Tates, of course, as you know. And when I moved to Bombay 20 years ago, that time Pop Tates was the place to be, right? So you could go with your friends to just hang out. You could go with your family for dinner. You could just go by yourself and be at Pop Tates. And over the years, Pop Tates has obviously expanded, but the quality of service, the comfort that you find has maintained. And because you guys are from the restaurant industry, you do know that this is not a very easy thing to do. Now that we have Roop here, who heads marketing for the Yellow Banana Food Company, which is the parent brand for Pop Tates and Chimichuris, Current Affairs, Urban Tadka, now Cherry and Chocolate. A lot of well-known, loved brands in Bombay and in Maharashtra. So we'll just get started. We'll talk to him about restaurant marketing, things that a new entrant can do, things that are working, right? Because restaurant marketing keeps changing year on year, and it's always good to be on top of these trends. So yeah, without much ado, welcome to the show, Roop. Good to have you.
Thank you so much, Ketan, and thank you everybody for joining. I hope you guys can hear me. Maybe you all can put a thumbs up or maybe in the chat. Yeah.
All good, all good. So Roop, I mean, let's get started.
Sure.
What I would love to know is, if you can introduce yourself and tell us about your journey. What is it that you do at Yellow Banana Food Company, and how did you get started in restaurant marketing?
All right. Maybe I'll have to take you guys a little bit before I jump into hospitality marketing. I'm actually a professional musician. I play bass guitar professionally for the last 20 years for independent and Bollywood acts. So I've been exposed to standing on stage ever since I was 12, 13 years old. And I was born abroad, actually. I was born in Saudi Arabia, and then I grew up in Muscat. So I was exposed to a lot of cultures, a lot of cuisines, a lot of lifestyle, a lot of communities when I was growing up at a very young age. And I wanted to come to Bombay because luckily music had been a huge part of my upbringing and something I wanted to do. And I wanted to make sure that I come to the city of dreams, being an Indian myself. And I actually just followed my heart here, studied marketing. I passed out of Wilson College, did my marketing and advertising from there. And then my journey of music and helping to build brands started almost together simultaneously. My early career was very simple. I helped build the brand Bajao.com, very famous today. Yeah.
Yes.
And I was the first employee. So the founder and me and I was still in SY BMM at that time. So yeah, I mean, I wanted pocket money. So I said, Dad is not going to give me too much. So I need to figure out another source. That's honestly what happened. So I jumped on board and did that. And then now, helped build that brand for 5 years, then moved into entertainment, moved into musical instruments, up to a general manager position at Procraft India. Ukulele brands like Enya and the carbon fiber ukuleles and a bunch of things that was all started by me when we had imported and we marketed and built it. So during that phase is when I found out that I had an acumen towards branding. My outlook towards things were very different, and I think when you grow up in a certain culture right from home, and when you're very accepting, luckily my parents have been very accepting to my culture, and as you can see, I look very different, not your typical. So yeah, I think that gave me a lot of confidence to explore and learn and apply, if I put it simply. So yeah, and then coming back to how I jumped into hospitality to answer your question, Ketan. Pandemic happened, a lot of changes happened, a lot of companies were not making too much money. They were not able to retain and pay a certain amount of salary when you're in a senior position. So I had to make a change. And I studied digital marketing at that time, actually, during those 1-2 years. and I studied a lot of things, did a lot of projects, did a lot of
Okay.
small time commission based things to learn and actually see practical knowledge and understand the language, what analytics is, all those things. And by the time I was out, I was way more qualified than before the pandemic till after the pandemic. So new opportunities came up, and I had encouraged a lot of people, my peers who are also going through the same challenges, to do those things.
Right.
And I put my heart in marketing. We were not able to go out and perform concerts and stuff, because of the time. So I
Right.
had to take a step like that. But then finally, what happened is Jimmy from Jimmy's Burger, very, very close friend of mine. In fact, if many of you don't know, Jimmy is a professional musician himself. And I only know him because we have shared stage together for like 20 years. He has his own act. I have my own act. We've been competing. We've been performing, headlining. It's been great. All the big music festivals we've been doing together. And his band is called Zignema. And I was very much there when I remember the time when he and his wife just started a small hole in the wall in Malad. And I used to go there to try out the burgers and see whether this is good, this is not. So I know him from then. So I jumped on board and I said, listen, man, I love your brand. We've all been fans and there's a nice community, but let's take it to the next level. Where's your marketing team?
Yeah.
He's like, what marketing team? So right now I'm the marketing person. I am the guy who's going to do everything. And he did brilliantly. Like the quality of food, gourmet burgers in Bombay, I mean, needs no introduction. Jimmy's needs no introduction as far as the community building and the cult factor, let me put it that way, that is concerned. It's very difficult to build, mass marketing cannot do that. It's purely word of mouth, and I saw the power of that. And I wanted to take that to the next level. So I actually made a presentation for him and I said, listen, can I help build this with you? Because I'm genuinely passionate about food, but I've built so many other things and I was in entertainment for so long and I have a great network. And is there any way where you can come together and make things happen mutually for all of us? So I jumped on board. He said, let's go. So the marketing department was me, just me.
Okay,
let's establish that. It was just me and Jimmy telling me what I should do and what I should not do. Basically, isme budget lega, isme budget nahi milega. So like that. So I had to start almost on a ground level after being a general manager in music industry. I had to start there, but because hospitality was new, but there were a lot of synergies. Like there was you are still selling. It's humans that sell to humans, and who doesn't love food, right? So I need to use my strategies. I built my network around, and the internet blew up. We lived in a very different time when I started Bajar.com and where, I helped start Bajar.com and where we are today. Ahead
of its time.
Yes. And I can't believe that right now, Instagram has become the biggest marketplace in the world today. Despite everything else that's happening around it. Today, the whole landscape has changed and a lot of people that have not made that change to market have suffered. And this includes restaurants and hospitality.
Right. So I do want to talk to you about the channels that work. But before that, I also wanted to understand that when you started at Jimmy's, it was you and Jimmy, right? You were the marketing team, you were the execution team, sab kuch aap hi log kar rahe the, right?
Yeah.
And there are a lot of brands out here which are just starting or who don't know where to start, right? So they have excellent food, excellent service, but when it comes to marketing, it's a little bit of an uphill task, right? Jimmy's great product, great location, word of mouth and that's how I heard of Jimmy's, right? So where did you start from? What is the first 5 things that you did at Jimmy's? Did you experiment with a bunch of things, saw what was working, not working? How did you go about it?
So that generally I went a lot with my gut. Can everybody hear me? Just checking with them. Okay, fine. I had to go with my gut and all the experience I gathered when I was helping out marketing for artists, helping out marketing for musical instruments, the MI industry, the pro audio industry, because at the end it's all about selling. But here it's something that people anyway require. That's food. Roti, kapada, makan, roti is first. I always tell people that, okay, even in those three things. So food, everybody's making good food. So when you start off, yes, it is a given that your product has to be good. It better be good. Right? But everybody's giving you good food. You need to find a personality. And in India, people love stories. These are the two things I tell anyone. Storytelling, that's why Bollywood and that's why our film industry is so huge. You need to pave a beautiful story about your brand. You need to talk about your founder. You need to talk about why he or she did that, because today everybody wants to know everything else about the brand or the human side or the community side of it. That creates more like you're very intrigued then and you want to know more. And today we have access to all this because of all the various apps, all the different online stuff that you can read about, communities, WhatsApp
Yeah.
groups, which was never there before. And LinkedIn, of course, you get to learn a lot about all your favorite brands, how they're going, what their next steps are. So you need to make sure you first understand your product and you understand your target audience, right? Your target audience cannot be everybody. I tell everyone this, sab log nahi hai. You need to find out who's your 50 to 60% versus the rest that's just coming.
Makes sense.
That's it. Once you understand that, you will tune your marketing style, the way you communicate, the way you put, the way you put your creatives, the style of marketing, humor, if you want to put humor, or you want to be serious and classy. All those things will come first when you only get this. Who's my target audience? And this is never going to change, no matter what happens. AI comes tomorrow, it will ask the same thing. Yeah.
Awesome. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. But what were the tactics? I mean, did you do paid? Did you have a good social game? Were you using Facebook and Instagram powerfully?
Yeah. So for the brand Jimmy's Burger, the product was great. It took 7 to 8 years to build that product. We had a few outlets, 6 outlets at that time. And Powai started after I came on board, and Thane just before I moved away from Jimmy's after helping build that team. So I had a 4-member team finally, and social media was very, very important. So we became super aggressive, and we had strategies, and you can see how that has worked. I was very much involved in helping to direct a few reels, along with a lot of help from Jimmy and his vision. And my first thing I really did was I made his face stand in front of the brand, which is so powerful. Today, personal brand is very, very important, right?
Absolutely.
A lot of people don't do it, and a lot of people don't want to do it, and they have their own reasons. I understand, but this is a great case study to show that after Jimmy's face, and everybody knew who he was, but the way we were able to showcase everything, ever since we had an anniversary, ever since we could show the kitchen, we can show the staff having a great time, showing how the craziness of the crowd, how people are going, just showing everyday things itself is also good content, because everyone's looking out there and people want to, they just want to be attacked by something or the other new. And if it's something they like, they are reminded yet again about how cool Jimmy is. How cool you are, how relevant you are, you need to have consistency. So we did that for first 3 months actually, and we saw a huge change, right? In engagement, our fan following went up, everything went up, our engagement went up, more importantly. The number of shares people are doing. So social was a big part. And another thing that I definitely got on board, actually 3 things. Second was we were not doing influencer marketing. We were talking to people who were for free, and they are also growing. They have some amount of impact. They will not have all the impact, but people who have built their brand, they have built a brand, so they know what works for their profile versus they understand the geographic target audience they already have, right? They understand that sort of things that now every influencer I work with shares with me. So if I have an outlet in Thane, I'm not going to get a Malad person to promote it. You understand? That's the next level. That's how it's actually effective that way. So I was able to do it confidently. Yeah. So I got good influences where some we paid, some we didn't, and a lot of them wanted to just be associated with the brand because it was a cool brand at that time.
Right.
And I was able to bridge those gaps, and we saw amazing results in the first month. Yeah.
And how did that translate into, say, business?
It did, because a lot of people, on the ground, I always tell all our restaurant managers after I do 1 or 2 campaigns, I always ask them, please ask them how did they come to know about this. So the percentage of new customers went up by 30 to 40% who have never come to Jimmy's before. Which is मैंने वो reel देख के आया. Okay. So, and I do that everywhere. Even today, when I'm in Pop Tate's, Pop Tate's is a brand that's been there for 26 years. They have stood the test of time. But even today, they never did too much social media marketing. So I brought those strategies here, and you can also see the difference here, because it's not about having the same tables filled. It's about having 30-40% of people who have never come there before. So they're your new customer, and you're going to retain that. That is the effort of having social media active, having reels, having a lot of engagement, having lovely contests. Everyone wants to be involved with the brand in any way they want. Right? And making sure you continue to create those opportunities according to your brand and align with your brand. That's it. So these are the things that worked for me. The third thing I did for Jimmy's, Ketan, was very important, was I tell all the brands, you need to fine. We're doing social media, digital world. You need to be seen at the places where a lot of cool things happen. As
Okay.
simply as, which means tomorrow if Brian Adams is playing, make sure that you have a stall there. Okay, outdoor marketing is very powerful today, and
Right.
so I took Jimmy's and I was able to completely spearhead 12 to 13 events, right from 50 Cent to Westlife
Hmm.
to Lollapalooza to everything, and it
Right.
took to build a really good looking, board, nice, brought the whole outlet vibe into a new place and setup, because that creates brand again, right? And we're still an independent brand, right? So yes, it looks like a cost to us, but we were able to sell out everywhere, right? We were always the highest biller in all the festivals. So that
Wow.
shows that the effort that we put in, and the people who are already spending that kind of money and they have nowhere else to eat, they will come and have your burgers
Correct.
because you.
But tell me one thing, for brands that are just getting started, right? Doing an event or holding a stall at these kind of events would be very expensive, right? At what
Not
stage?
really. Not
Not really.
really. You'll be surprised. It's not very
Ah,
expensive.
okay.
It's way below 50,000. Let me just tell you that
Oh,
much. Yeah,
that's
yeah,
it.
for a day. For a day. But yes, you have your inventory, you have staff, a lot of things like that. But anyways, if you're spending money out there and expecting people to come also to the restaurant, sometimes you need to go to the people. That's basically the point. So the balance of these three things is what has worked for me. And there is no template to this. This same template might not work with every brand, but
Right.
every essence of these templates will definitely work, because in today's world, because those people who can afford your brand are already there, right?
Right.
Secondly, social media are already hitting Gen Z. You're already hitting
Hmm.
the people who are looking for their next fix, whether it's makeup, whether it's drinking, whether it's food. It's the and you can put money and advertise towards that target audience. You can micro target. You can do that kind of stuff. So you're hitting all the places, and you're still spending not too much money per outlet. Let me put it that way. Another thing I want to tell everyone is, please calculate things per outlet. Sometimes people think this is the brand and I have these outlets, so I'm going to give a whole listing. So I have done this where every outlet has its own budget, because so that it's easy to measure, right?
Okay.
Yeah. That's another thing that I have really introduced. And I have now done that here. Here we have close to 60 outlets. So it's a very, very, very
Yes.
crazy scene. But yeah, I just wanted
No,
to mention that.
no, that's a great start. I mean, uh, you the foundations for Jimmy, you can see that now because it's
Yeah.
packed on a Tuesday night, right? And
Yes,
not
yes.
not a lot of outlets can say that about business.
Like
So yeah,
just
phenomenal.
just to say one more thing, Ketan, if that's okay. There were
Yeah, of
times
course.
when on anniversary for a smaller brand at that time, smaller brand like Jimmy's, which is self-made, right? Right.
Yeah.
Having to give out a big portion as a prize is a costly affair. Rather, do I
Oh,
put that money on a newspaper, or should I put it on a billboard? They're all
right.
still costs, right? I have just found a way to use the cost better, and I can measure it.
Measure.
That's it.
Absolutely.
So tomorrow I can show anybody, any director, I can measure it. We have to show that we can measure what we do. Once every marketer learns that, and it's very easy to do nowadays. Nowadays, there are softwares that help combine all the softwares together and will give you analytics. So it's become that easy. So it's all about making the right decisions, and you will only have decision making power after you make a few trials and make a few mistakes. Today also I
Okay.
make mistakes, and that is allowed as long as you're still doing something. No director says आपने कुछ नहीं किया.
Correct. That's
Everyone, आपने तो कुछ तो किया. That's
huh.
it. That worked with Jimmy always, and he's like, if you didn't do anything, I'll be upset with you. But if you've done something and you failed, that's fine.
Not about. We'll get into the technology also because abhi restaurant technology is also evolving at such a pace that it might just be very difficult to keep track. So, what are the essentials? We'll come to that in a bit. But let's talk a little bit about Pop Tates and Yellow Banana, right?
Sure.
60 outlets. I mean, 6 brands, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, 5 brands actually.
Five.
So we have Pop Tate's Urban Tadka, over 20 years old, 26 years old to be exact.
Uh-huh.
They've seen generations come and go through both these restaurants. Grandfathers
Absolutely.
to their grandchildren are now coming there. So
Right.
it's yeah, nostalgic. Then we have Chimichurri, which is our Asian, bar and kitchen. We
Right.
have around yeah, 4 outlets. One is coming actually, so 5.
Right.
Yeah, and we have Current Affairs, which is also a restaurant, but I have developed it into a place where a lot of activities like karaoke, maybe a few
Excuse
other
me.
activities that are happening are going to be taken. They already have 3 outlets as far
Right.
as that is concerned. And then we have Cherry and Chocolate, which is our in-house bakery and patisserie, where we make breads, we make our own, we make everything right from pastries to croissants, and now we have our own cafe where we've extended it just recently, just been a week. It's in Warsaw. You guys should come and check it out. I've just launched it, and so it's a full-fledged cafe where you can get coffee and bunch of other things that every cafe has, but with our own twist in it. So we're super excited. So those are the 5 brands.
Awesome. So I must say that I did go to the Warsaw outlet when it
You
was
did.
just under trials, and I did not know that it was under trial, right? I just walked in and I had a free coffee because when I asked for the bill, they said, "Oh, sir, this is trial only." So yeah, I mean, great experience before you opened the doors. But
Yeah,
Jimmy was 6 outlets and 1 brand. Now you're at 60 outlets and 5 brands, right? So the
yeah.
game is completely different here. How do you manage marketing for this whole group now?
So though I might be the brain and strategist, I have a wonderful team that I have personally been involved in handpicking, and this is an advice I give a lot of people. As marketers, we have to have a good vision, and usually one vision works and everybody else executes, right? Like I always give this example to everybody, like actors know their lines, they know their parts, everybody knows. The director makes the movie. There's one vision. Okay, so my
Right.
job is to be the director, and I have everybody really good at each of their. But all the characters are well, all their strengths are in, all their understanding of what each one is good at, and they're put in the right place, and everybody needs to execute together. So it works like a well-oiled machine. Again,
Hmm.
there are going to be times marketing. I say, what kind of a job is it? It's a 24-hour job. Let's be very honest, guys. Nobody will say there. It's not a 9 to 5 job, and it will never be, because now marketing follows you on the phone. You have your social media accounts, your DMs need to be answered. So my person who's doing that is working 24 hours. But then on the interview, I brief these things. So when I say handpick, I handpick each and every person who's going to make a difference to my team. And I want them to be excited about what they're doing, right? If I don't sense that, then obviously, I mean, they won't be able to add value to me, not to themselves,
Hmm.
right? And that's very important. So my team is a big reason. So I have somebody who does digital marketing, handles creating all the websites, managing all of that, handling all the admin work. That's one. Then I have my social media manager, assistant manager, who's under me, who reports to me, who handles the whole team under her, right?
Okay.
So we have built a proper hierarchy because we're
Right.
5 brands, as you said, Ketan. So we have enough work to do. Like even one brand nowadays, people have like 15 to 20 people because there are so
Right.
many avenues in marketing that you have to cover. You have to cover
Right.
PR, you have to cover outdoor, you have to cover, you have to do newspapers if at all, if you want to create a buzz. You have to do
Yeah.
social media, it's never ending. You have to do, you have to do coupons, you have to do corporate things, you have to do a bunch of things that will make, it'll hit you,
Right.
as far as this is concerned.
Right.
Yeah.
So
So,
Pop Tate, sorry,
yeah.
go ahead.
But I have people who are under 10. Under 10, I found superheroes who share my vision. And today we're able to manage all the 5 brands. Just to give you an
Okay.
example, that we're able to pull this off, though this month we have 5 outlets opening in one
Wow.
month, 5 outlets opening in one month. I have never had an experience of working with, but today my director has supported me and my whole team has been working around the clock. I didn't have to hire more people, just about right so that everybody is able to contribute equally, feel good about it, and actually see
Yeah.
all their work there, right? Sales have started picking up. Some videos have done very well. They've gone viral. Everything will
Yeah.
not be 100%, but everyone will add to each and every step to finally hit the pyramid at the top. And
Right.
that's how it is. So the cool part is a lot of brands, because this is a very specialized job, right? You need expertise, you need experience, so they would rather use an agency. And a lot of brands have hired and fired agencies, not just
Right.
restaurants, any other industry also, because I have friends in other industries. We talk a lot about this.
Yeah.
Agencies have a way of working. There's nothing wrong with an agency, but you're also one of their clients. Yeah. Here, all 5 are my brands. The intent
True.
towards it, the way you work towards it, automatically completely changes. So I made us the production house of all the 5 brands. I made
Right.
us the social media manager of all the 5 brands. I made us the people who make the reels. If I needed tools, I needed a gimbal, I needed an iPhone, I need lights. I have purchased, we have everything here now. And I told
Right.
sir, why spend money and pay all these things outside? Rather help develop this. And another thing I do is train. Other than just managing, it's my job to train. If I have a vision, I need to make sure they're trained in the way so that they can reach the vision, right?
Right.
So I do that very early on, and then I make sure that everyone is aligned. So we have the tools. Now we can do everything independently. So we're not depending on other agencies or anyone else. And unfortunately, creative things and creativity is very subjective, right? Something you might like might not be cool to me.
That's
So
true.
you remove all these problems, right? And also agencies are not very cheap, right? When you have to do reruns and all, you have to keep, you've got to keep paying them and stuff like that. So I sold the whole idea of becoming the in-house agency, like, we are everyone
Sounds
that
like
is in-house doing it.
sounds
And it
like
was
a
very,
media.
Ketan, I'm very happy. I did this in Jimmy's. We did it in
Uh,
Jimmy, but that's one brand. Now I'm able to do it here. So I know that I'm able to scale it now and actually add value to each of my brand. Even though I have openings in one brand, I'm making sure the other one is not left out, right? Because
right.
I have people who understand that. So yeah, it's been tough.
Okay. And what kind of channels are working for you at the YBFC level, right? Individual outlets.
Yes.
Sorry.
So as I told you guys, what's happening is a lot of you have to look at location. People who stay in a certain area are very different from people who stay in another area. So
Right.
template does not work. Which means another thing is I don't just sit in the office. I am always on the field. I go on the ground. A lot
Right.
of marketing heads, a lot of marketing directors don't do that. But because they have people to do that and they get reported. But I like to go there and do it myself. And that's something that will never change about me. I'm able to give better quality insight to my staff and tell them what to do because I myself have seen it. So that is something that I follow. So I thought I should share that. If there's a place opening, I actually go there and see the interiors being done. I take a picture. I sense the vibe. I try and
Right.
look around the area. All that. I still do that, by the way. And I know, like, it's not very easy to do it for everyone, but this is just a practice that has worked for me. So I'm making sure I do that. So then I also make sure my staff goes and sees it. They experience
Right.
it themselves. Telling someone how something should be versus them actually experiencing में बहुत फर्क होता है. And
Of
they
course.
themselves be able to generate the right ideas. And so I
Right.
have armed each person to be that way, right? Being self-sufficient, making sure that your duty, you only should come and tell me what you've done. Correct?
Right.
And this
Right.
takes time. So that's the only way you can have a tight-knit under 10 people team where everybody's of that level and they're also able to contribute and manage 5 brands. Be it social media, outdoor, all the designing, all the videos, all the editing, and PR is something I take care of since they're already so busy.
Of course. So, of all these channels, right, of your marketing mix, what have you seen works? I mean, I'm sure over time the channels that deliver will change. Um, Currently, what works best? As in, if somebody has to get started on one channel,
Well,
what should they get
digital
started on?
marketing, digital marketing is quite important. And
Hmm.
ऐसे नहीं कि एक दो बार किया और फिर यार कुछ रिजल्ट्स नहीं आया. It's not an instant process or instant gratification नहीं मिलता है. It's a process. The algorithm is studied, the way you market. One day you can do a different targeting, next day you can do another targeting, you can even compare those two. Up till there,
Right.
and you need to be monitoring. So I have a separate person who does digital marketing. That person's job is just that, checking all the analytics, making changes, sending me the changes, telling me I have made this change because I saw this result, right? So an agency can do those things, but when you have it in-house, everything is very fluid and this information reaches that information very easily, so you can make those changes. And you make this change in the
Making it
you
faster.
understand? It's very cohesive. Yes.
Yes.
That's what makes the difference. So because I have had this vision, that's the reason we're able to work like that and we're able to manage everything, right?
Right.
My team is obviously going to grow. I mean, if tomorrow my boss wants to do splits, 10 people are not enough. There's no doubt about it, right? Because this restaurant marketing, one of the biggest things, news, everybody who's in restaurant, news, menu, prices, those are all that happen in a year, maybe 3 or 4 seasons. Okay. On top of 10 cards, there will be a lot of other things that are happening. On top of that, we have to do things. On top of that, we have to do really good social media stuff. We have to shoot, we have to edit. They're all different specialities, and everybody cannot be good at everything.
Right.
So you need to find leaders who will lead them, and then they report to you and make sure that they're aligned with vision. That's the only way this can work. There's no other way in scale.
Understood. So digital. When you say digital marketing, I assume you're meaning paid ads on Google.
Doing ads. Yes, we're doing paid ads. when new outlets open, we have to make sure you do it in reality, take the analytics. Then on the ground, I always do. I still do newspaper. See, brands is good. Put a big picture of it, it's full on a. It still creates it. When you're a legacy brand, when you're new, I push more on digital because a new brand, and if I'm at youth, my youth majority of them are already on their phone.
Right, right.
So
No, absolutely. People probably live on their phones more than anything else. So coming back to this, right? Ha, uh, so if somebody's starting a new outlet, and let's say they don't have the budget or the expertise to start digital marketing, would you say that they could probably get started with Instagram, be as authentic as possible without trying to necessarily follow trends all the time?
can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, okay. I completely agree with you. Small steps is good, and Instagram is a great place to start because your audience is already there. People who
Yeah,
want to eat thing is already there. Everyone's already there. The best way, and you can measure it, you can analyze it. Little, you get an idea, right?
right,
Don't do outdoor marketing. Don't do things like that because a lot of people are new, go out there and blast. But then that instant results, and there's no way you can measure it correctly, even to virtual.
yeah,
So I'm always for digital. And there are for digital. There is right from doing Instagram. The reason I talk about Instagram is because, to be very honest, everybody's already on. I don't need to get onto the platform to do it.
right,
Everyone's on it. There are such smart ways to do collaborations with all established people, partnerships
right,
that really. So, which to my next point is influencer marketing. Now, a lot of people are against this because honestly, I just think they don't understand. Okay, today an influencer, people listen to influencers. That's just the hard truth. Or they are reminded because there are a bunch of people who have lots of influence and they're offering products. Today, the biggest, right from even like like big brands, why do you sell to influencers? They're so huge but amazing advertisements. Do it because there is that audience that is actually reaching, and there are a lot of new people that get to it, and it in people there is so all those things matter. So even in restaurant, I can think because I've seen it in entertainment. There's no other way you have to do it. Out there, you need to be singing, dancing from TikTok to now, reels. Be out there. So
right,
now everybody, right? Everybody see food, and it's food, babies, puppies. Food is there. Food is another thing that everybody wants to see. So why not put your food out there, rule worthy, so people see it, and do that
right.
almost every 2 days. It is going to work. That's easy to do, and who can shoot for you. Give him a feel or something.